All right, get ready to maybe rethink everything you thought you knew about creativity. Forget that common idea that your best thinking, your most innovative stuff peaks when you're young.
Right, that it all fades with age.
Exactly. Because today we're doing a deep dive into something pretty fascinating. The mature mind isn't just capable of creativity. It actually has this unique, often untapped powerhouse for really groundbreaking innovation.
It's such a common myth, isn't it?
Yeah.
And kind of a dangerous one, really.
Yeah.
It leaves so many experienced people feeling like, well, their best ideas are behind them.
Yeah, like they've already made their contribution.
But what's so exciting now is the research, groundbreaking stuff, some from Stanford University, that's really just shattering that whole belief.
Absolutely. And it's not just about pushing back on old ideas. It's uncovering this exciting reality. Your brain, as it ages, isn't losing its creative edge.
Right.
It's actually changing. It's gaining specific advantages.
Advantages that let it generate solutions, insights even, that younger minds, for all their speed, maybe just can't quite reach.
Let's make this real. Let's talk about Margaret. She's 78.
Huh?
She'd settled into retirement, feeling kind of mentally stuck, convinced she just wasn't, the creative type.
Yeah, heard that before.
Then, almost accidentally, she finds these secrets we're talking about, and it completely transforms her life. And not just her life, her whole community.
Wow. Her story is such a powerful example, isn't it?
Yeah.
So relatable for anyone who's ever felt like, their creative well has run dry or doubted they could come up with something original and impactful.
So that's our mission today. It's clear. We're going to unpack the science. How are mature minds these creativity powerhouses? And then the really important part.
The practical stuff.
Yes, the specific techniques anyone can use to unlock this potential. Doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your background. Let's really get into this.
Well, what's truly fascinating is just how wrong conventional wisdom has been. This idea that creativity needs a young, super flexible mind or really fast processing.
That's what we always hear.
Right. But the research consistently disproves it. Studies now clearly show that seniors have several critical cognitive advantages. They're actually incredibly potent forces for innovation.
That sounds like a total paradigm shift for many people listening. Can you break down these advantages for us? What's actually happening in the mature brain that gives it this creative edge?
Sure. There are really three main advantages that sort of redefine creative potential in older adults.
3 key advantages. Okay, I'm listening. What's the first one?
The first is what neuroscientists call crystallized intelligence. Now, don't just think facts. Think of it more like a huge, incredibly rich library in your brain. Built up over decades of life experience. It's packed with patterns, connections, solutions, nuances, all gathered from every success, every failure, every conversation, every observation you've ever had.
So where a younger person might have to actively go look things up or learn connections from scratch, the mature brain kind of already has this massive cross-reference database.
That's a great way to put it.
I can see how that's a massive head start for combining ideas in new ways.
Exactly. It's this unparalleled resource. It lets mature brains almost spontaneously generate novel combinations of ideas because they've had the time and experience to build that mental library. It's like an intuition for how different pieces fit together.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the second advantage our brains develop?
So the aging process itself actually triggers subtle but really profound changes in your brain's neural networks. And these changes significantly boost something called divergent thinking.
Divergent thinking. Okay, refresh us. That's not just finding the one right answer, but seeing multiple possibilities for one problem.
Precisely.
Coming at challenges from unexpected angles, maybe even weird angles.
Exactly that. It's the ability to effortlessly make those surprising connections between things that seem totally unrelated. To broaden your perspective, explore a much wider range of possibilities than you might have when you were younger. Your brain literally gets wired to explore more broadly. See the whole picture, not just the obvious path.
That's really interesting. Okay, and you said the third advantage might be the most surprising one.
It often is, yeah. It's a slight reduction in what's called cognitive inhibition that happens naturally as we age. Now, a lot of people might initially think, oh, that sounds bad, like losing focus.
Right, less inhibition sounds like maybe a negative?
But actually, it loosens the mental filters. Those filters often keep younger minds stuck in very conventional ways of thinking.
So it's like your brain is giving itself permission to explore the wilder ideas, the ones you might normally dismiss or self-censor.
That's a perfect way to think about it.
And those could lead to breakthroughs.
They absolutely can. It removes those internal barriers, allowing for a much more fluid, less constrained exploration of ideas. It often leads to genuinely novel approaches because the mind isn't automatically shutting down paths just because they look a bit unconventional.
This brings us right back to Margaret. She felt limited, right? Especially by those mind-numbingly repetitive activities at her senior center.
Yes, instead of just accepting it.
She started her curiosity experiment, which really proves that creativity isn't just about youth or innate talent. It's about specific mental techniques, and crucially, techniques you can learn.
Exactly. And her journey just powerfully shows how accessible these methods are, and importantly, how they tap directly into the strengths unique to mature minds.
Okay, let's talk techniques. One powerful one Margaret used is the connection web method. It sounds cool. What is it?
It's a really ingenious exercise, actually. You take any ordinary thing, an object, a situation, and you force your mind, consciously, to find at least 10 unexpected connections to completely unrelated topics.
10? That sounds like a lot.
It forces you.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing is, doing this actually starts to rewire your brain to see possibilities where you only saw, well, the ordinary before, or limitations.
And how does this tap into those mature mind advantages?
Well, it directly uses that vast crystallized intelligence we talked about. Remember Margaret looking at the bland cafeteria? A younger person might just see tables and chairs. But her mind, with decades of stored experiences, it effortlessly pulled up connections, bustling European markets she'd visited, her grandmother's lively dinner parties, birds gathering at a feeder, even the vibe of old jazz clubs.
Wow, that's drawing from a deep well.
An unparalleled library.
Yeah.
She was leveraging all these diverse concepts she'd absorbed over a lifetime.
And what did that lead to practically? Just a mental exercise?
No. It led her to envision transforming that boring space into rotating themed dining experiences. It wasn't just about food anymore. It was about sparking conversations, sharing memories, building real connections.
That's brilliant.
And neurologically, that exercise activated her default mode network. That's the network linked to those aha shower moments, yes. But it's also crucial for integrating different bits of information, making novel links and finding personal meaning. And that network is deeply enriched by a lifetime of experiences.
Far more than just random shower thoughts then. Active meaning making. Okay, another technique Margaret used, this one's fascinating, reframing limitations as creative superpowers.
Yes. This is such a radical shift, and older adults are uniquely positioned for it. Think about Margaret and technology. She admitted she was slow to adopt new tech.
Which most people would see as a drawback.
Right, but she flipped it. She used her beginner's mind, combined with decades of observing people, to ask really basic questions that tech-savvy folks often just skip over.
Questions about usability, accessibility.
Exactly. It led to insights about truly user-friendly design that younger innovators, immersed in the tech, hadn't even considered. She was using her divergent thinking to find a novel angle on what looked like a deficit.
Okay, what about her slower pace, her more deliberate movement? That's often seen purely as decline.
But she turned that into an asset too, for deep observation, enhanced pattern recognition. Her slower pace let her notice subtle details, connections that people rushing around totally miss. It taps right into that patient, integrative ability of the mature brain. Even, get this, her occasional forgetfulness. Instead of being a problem.
How could that be an advantage?
Because sometimes not remembering exactly how things were supposed to be done, thanks to that slight reduction in cognitive inhibition, actually freed her mind. It allowed her to explore completely new approaches, unburdened by the old rules.
That is a powerful reframe. Seeing strength where others just see problems. Okay, next strategy. The wisdom bridge strategy. Leveraging having seen decades of change.
Yes. Unlike younger people who might be caught up in the latest trend, mature minds have the perspective, backed by crystallized intelligence, to see what lasts versus what's just fleeting. Margaret didn't just get nostalgic. She actively mined her memories for forgotten wisdom.
Forgotten wisdom? Like what?
Like abandoned approaches from the past that could actually be dusted off and used for modern problems. She remembered how communities used to solve problems together before everyone got so isolated online, how people entertained themselves without screens all the time, how relationships were built through doing things together physically.
And she applied that.
She started reimagining these time-tested ideas for today's challenges. It wasn't about going backwards. It was treating the past as this incredibly rich source of raw material for future innovation. It really revitalized things.
Showing that experience isn't baggage, it's fuel.
Exactly. A deep wellspring for genuinely innovative thinking.
Now, perhaps her most profound discovery, the legacy innovation mindset. This sounds powerful.
It is. It's realizing your creative ideas aren't really competing with younger folks. You have something they don't yet. That sense of urgency, knowing your time to make an impact, is precious. It's finite.
And that urgency, it does what?
Paradoxically, it often removes the fear of failure that holds so many people back. When you realize this might be your best shot, your most authentic chance.
You stop worrying so much about messing up.
Precisely. It frees you from perfectionism, from constantly worrying what others think, from playing it safe. And that freedom, especially combined with a reduced cognitive inhibition of the mature brain, becomes this catalyst for your most authentic, powerful, creative work.
Building on that freedom, Margaret also mastered cross-pollination thinking, using all her different life experiences.
Yes, taking full advantage of being, say, a teacher, and a mother, and a gardener, and a volunteer, and a traveler. You combine insights from these totally different areas in ways that specialists, often stuck in their narrow lanes, just can't.
So lessons from teaching helped with engaging seniors.
Absolutely. Parenting wisdom helped build community. Gardening offered metaphors for nurturing ideas. Travel insights helped create welcoming environments. It's pure divergent thinking, seeing connections across completely different parts of your life.
Creating hybrid solutions a single focus expert wouldn't dream of. Okay, a big one for everyone, the inner critic. Margaret learned to turn that negative voice.
You know the one. That's a stupid idea. You can't do that.
Into her curiosity coach. I love that name.
It's brilliant. It's about reframing every critical thought into an exploratory question. It really leverages the mature mind's ability for reflection, for nuanced thinking.
So instead of "that won't work," you ask,
Okay, what would need to be true for this to work? Or instead of "I'm not qualified."
maybe, what if someone with my unique life experience is exactly who needs to suggest this?
Exactly. You're not just quieting the doubt, you're actively turning potential roadblocks into prompts for deeper, more creative thinking. It's crystallized intelligence, actively reframing challenges.
Margaret also recognized the collaborative multiplication effect, that great ideas don't always come from a lone genius.
Right, they can bubble up from well-designed conversations and collaborations. Her years of experience, that deep crystallized intelligence about people, taught her how to ask the right questions.
How to really listen.
Yes, and how to create safe spaces where people felt comfortable sharing their wild, maybe half-baked ideas. She became less the sole inventor, more the creative catalyst, facilitating breakthroughs within the group.
Very wise. Now, constraint-based innovation, turning limitations into advantages. That sounds counterintuitive.
It does, but it often leads to more original and practical ideas than just brainstorming with unlimited resources. Remember, the Senior Center had no budget.
Yeah, zero budget for her big ideas.
So Margaret didn't give up. She used free stuff, donated materials, got volunteers involved, built partnerships in the community. It wasn't just being resourceful. It led to solutions that were sustainable, replicable.
Yeah.
Ideas that might never have happened with a blank check.
And there's research backing this up.
Yes. University of California research shows people over 60 often outperform younger adults on problem-solving tasks that specifically require drawing on diverse experiences and making novel connections, exactly the kind of thinking constraints often force. It shows the power of combining crystallized intelligence with divergent thinking under pressure.
That's crucial. Okay, building on pattern recognition, reverse innovation thinking, adapting existing solutions.
Exactly. Instead of reinventing the wheel, you identify something that works well in one context and creatively adapt it for a totally different problem. This heavily relies on your lifelong crystallized intelligence and divergent thinking for spotting those underlying patterns.
So like taking her mom's old neighborhood food swap idea and applying it to modern resource sharing.
Or adapting a great teacher's methods to motivate sedentary seniors.
Yeah.
It's seeing the universal principle in the specific example and applying it somewhere new.
Then there's sequential creativity, ideas evolving slowly.
Yes, understanding that brilliance often doesn't strike all at once. Ideas often get better through small, iterative improvements over time.
Like polishing a stone.
Exactly. And this plays perfectly to the strengths of mature minds, patience, deliberation. It takes the pressure off needing that instant eureka moment. You start with good enough and refine it, using your experience to guide the process.
And finally, the most powerful one, perhaps, ecosystem innovation, designing ideas that attract their own support.
This tackles that feeling of, I have a great idea, but no energy or resources to make it happen. It's about designing ideas that are so compelling, so beneficial, they naturally draw people, resources, and energy towards them, creating solutions that build their own momentum.
How did Margaret do that?
She crafted ideas that appeal to different groups, where each group could contribute something unique and also gain something valuable. Positive-sum collaborations. Her genius wasn't just having ideas, but having the right kind of ideas, ones that almost implemented themselves because they naturally attracted support. That's crystallized intelligence applied to systemic thinking.
So, looking back at Margaret's whole journey, her transformation wasn't magic. It wasn't sudden talent.
No, it was about consistently using these proven techniques. Techniques that, and this is key, work especially well for mature minds.
And that's the critical point for you listening right now. The biggest thing holding back your creative potential probably isn't your age or your education or some lack of talent.
It's those limiting cultural beliefs, beliefs about creativity and aging that society, maybe unconsciously, has fed you. Beliefs that are not only scientifically wrong,
But they're actively blocking you from accessing abilities that are actually stronger and more refined now than ever before.
think about it. Your mature mind has been working, building, accumulating creative potential your entire life. It's this huge reservoir of insights, connections, wisdom,
Just waiting.
waiting to be recognized, waiting to be applied.
And the stakes are real. Every day you wait, believing those myths, is a day we lose out on innovations, on solved problems, on contributions that only your unique perspective can bring.
Margaret used this great analogy. She said, discovering this was like finding a secret room in a house she lived in forever, a room full of treasures and possibilities she never knew was there. And once she opened that door, her whole experience of aging shifted from decline to expansion, limitation to liberation, irrelevance to real impact.
The powerful image. So the choice really is yours now. You can keep believing the old, outdated myths about aging and creativity, the ones keeping millions stuck. Or
You can start applying these techniques starting today and experience your own creative renaissance.
because a world genuinely needs the unique innovations, the nuanced solutions, the wisdom-filled ideas that only your experienced, mature mind can generate. So we challenge you. What's just one limiting belief about your own creativity you're ready to question right now? What ordinary object, what piece of past wisdom could you connect to a current problem in a totally new way? Your breakthrough is waiting.